If you shop at Tesco, you need to stop what you're doing and pay very close attention to what I'm about to tell you. This is Retail Alert UK, and if you care about your money, your health, and what's really going on behind those sliding doors, hit that subscribe button right now, because what 15 current and former Tesco employees have revealed to us will fundamentally change the way you shop. You think you know what you're buying. You think those yellow labels mean savings. You think that fresh counter is actually fresh. But the truth is hidden in plain sight, printed on labels you never read, buried in fine print you're trained to ignore, and stacked on shelves in ways specifically designed to manipulate your choices. Today, we're counting down 7 secrets that Tesco insiders say you desperately need to know, and by the time we reach number 1, you'll never look at your local supermarket the same way again. Number 7. The price you see is not the price you should be comparing. You think you're getting a deal when you spot a big yellow club card price slashed across the shelf, but what you don't realize is that Tesco has quietly restructured its entire pricing architecture to make comparison shopping nearly impossible. Here's what multiple employees have told us in documented conversations. The regular prices, the ones non-club card holders pay, are often inflated specifically to make the club card discount look more dramatic than it actually is. Consumer investigations published in national newspapers have found cases where the so-called regular price had never actually been charged at that level for a meaningful period before the promotion began. But it gets more insidious than that. The real trick is in the price per 100 grams label, that tiny number at the bottom of the shelf tag that most shoppers ignore completely. Staff have admitted they've seen product sizes change while the main price stays the same or even drops slightly, making you think you're saving money when you're actually paying more per gram than you were 6 months ago. This is textbook shrinkflation, and it's happening across hundreds of product lines. One former stock controller told us they watched a popular biscuit brand reduce its pack weight by 15%, while the prominent price dropped by just 20 pence. Effectively a massive price increase disguised as a saving. What can you do right now? Train yourself to ignore the big numbers entirely. Look only at the price per 100 grams or price per litre figure. Take a photo of it today and check it again in a month. You'll be shocked at what you discover. And speaking of discoveries, wait until you hear what's happening with the products that aren't even meant to be on those shelves in the first place. Number 6. Some products sold at Tesco were never designed to meet full retail standards. You think every product on the shelf went through the same quality control process, but according to multiple insider accounts and publicly available supplier documents, there exists a category of goods specifically manufactured for discount channels with different specifications than their premium counterparts. Now let me be very careful here because this is an area where documentation matters. What employees have described and what trading standards investigations have previously examined in the broader retail sector is the practice of brands creating what the industry calls value-engineered versions of popular products. These might have the same name, similar packaging, but use cheaper ingredients, thinner materials, or reduce quantities of key components. One Tesco employee working in the home and clothing section told us they regularly received shipments of items with subtly different product codes that looked identical to the mainline version but felt noticeably cheaper in hand. When they queried this internally, they were told these were specification variants intended for promotional periods. The practical impact for you is significant. That branded cleaning product you bought on offer might contain a lower concentration of active ingredients than the full-price version you purchased last year. That clothing item might use a lower thread count than the same brand sells elsewhere. What should you do? When a product feels different than you remember, trust your instincts. Check the product codes and batch numbers. Compare ingredient lists between what you have at home and what's on shelf. If you find discrepancies, you have every right to raise this with trading standards. And if you think that's concerning, you're really not prepared for what some of these workers say about what happens when things go wrong with food safety. Number 5. Recall notices don't always reach the people who already bought the product. You think that When a food product is recalled for contamination, allergen mislabeling, or safety concerns, the system works smoothly to protect you. But here's what insiders describe as a fundamental gap in the process. Once you walk out of that store with a recalled item in your bag, there is no guaranteed mechanism to reach you unless you actively check recall databases yourself, and almost nobody does. Employees have told us about instances where products flagged for urgent recall, documented on the Food Standards Agency website with specific batch codes and use-by dates, remained in customers' homes because the store had no way to contact everyone who purchased them. Even club card data, which tracks your purchases in extraordinary detail, is not systematically used to proactively alert you when something you bought turns out to be dangerous. One former customer service worker described the frustration of watching allergen recalls go out for products containing undeclared nuts or milk, knowing full well that families with allergic children had purchased those exact items and would likely never see the recall notice. The window between a product being flagged and a full public alert can stretch to days, during which time you might feed that item to your children. What's your action step? Bookmark the Food Standards Agency recall page right now. Check it weekly. If you have allergies in your household, sign up for their alerts. Don't assume the store will come and find you, because according to the people who work there, they simply cannot. Now, even if the product isn't recalled, what condition is it actually in when it reaches you? That brings us to number 4, and this one genuinely shocked us. Number 4. The journey from warehouse to shelf isn't always as cold as it should be. You think that refrigerated and frozen items maintain their temperature continuously from supplier to your basket, but employees across multiple stores have described what they call the ambient gap, periods during restocking, delivery unloading, or storage transitions, where temperature-sensitive products sit outside proper refrigeration for longer than guidelines recommend. Now, every major retailer has cold chain protocols, and Tesco publishes its food safety standards publicly. But what workers describe is a gap between policy and practice during busy periods, short-staffed shifts, or when delivery schedules collide with peak shopping hours. One night shift worker told us they've seen frozen items sitting on pallets in the warehouse loading area for extended periods during summer months while staff prioritized other tasks. By the time those products reached the freezer, there was visible condensation suggesting they'd begun to thaw and been refrozen. Another employee working the dairy section described regularly finding products at the back of display fridges, reading temperatures above the safe threshold, particularly in older stores with aging equipment. The products still looked fine and sold normally. What does this mean for you? Always grab refrigerated items from the back of the shelf where it's coldest. Check for ice crystals inside frozen packaging, which indicates thaw and refreeze cycles. Feel dairy products before you buy them. They should be genuinely cold to the touch, not just cool. And never buy anything from a fridge that feels warm or where you can see condensation on products that should be frozen solid. But temperature isn't the only hidden issue. What about the policies that quietly take money from your account without you even noticing? That's next, and you're going to want to check your bank statement after hearing this. Number 3. Your club card and online accounts might be costing you money in ways you never authorized. You think that loyalty scheme is just about collecting points and accessing discounts, but what several employees and documented customer complaints reveal is a system with hidden mechanisms that can drain your money through subscription traps, automatic renewals, and default settings you never consciously chose. Let's start with Club Card Plus and Delivery Saver, the subscription services that promise savings but lock you into recurring payments. Former staff have told us they routinely dealt with customers who had no idea they were being charged monthly, sometimes for years, after signing up during a promotional push and forgetting about it. The cancellation process, according to customer service workers, is deliberately more complicated than the sign-up process, requiring navigation through multiple account settings that aren't intuitive to find. But it goes deeper than subscriptions. When you shop online, default settings often include substitutions for out-of-stock items. And multiple employees have described cases where customers were charged for substituted products at higher prices than the items they originally ordered. You might have ordered a budget tin of tomatoes and received a premium organic version at 3 times the cost. Technically with your consent because you didn't untick the substitution box, but in practice without your genuine awareness. And here's something that caught our attention in customer complaints. Some users report mysterious small charges appearing on accounts linked to expired or updated payment cards, suggesting that card details are stored and updated automatically in ways many people don't realize they agreed to. What should you do today? Log into your Tesco account right now. Check every active subscription. Review your default delivery settings. Look at what payment methods are stored and whether automatic updates are enabled. Then check your bank statements for recurring Tesco charges you might have forgotten about. You might be funding a subscription you haven't used in 18 months. But if that's scary, wait until you hear about what happens to the data itself, because number 2 reveals a vulnerability that could affect far more than your grocery budget. Number 2. Your shopping data creates a security and privacy exposure that most customers never consider. You think that scanning your club card just earns you points, but what you're actually doing is building one of the most comprehensive profiles of your personal life that exists anywhere. And according to employees who have worked with these systems, the security surrounding that data isn't as robust as you might hope. Every club card scan logs not just what you buy, but when you buy it, where you buy it, what you buy it with, and increasingly how you interact with digital touchpoints throughout the store and app. This data is used for targeted advertising, sold in anonymized form to third parties, and analyzed to predict your behavior in ways that border on surveillance. Documented data breaches affecting UK retailers have exposed millions of customer records, and while Tesco has invested in security, former IT-adjacent staff have described internal systems with inconsistent access controls, meaning more employees can view more customer data than you'd probably be comfortable knowing. One worker told us they could pull up a customer's complete purchase history going back years with just a club card number, seeing everything from healthcare products to alcohol purchases to financial service applications. That's information that could be used for social engineering, identity fraud, or even personal harassment if it fell into the wrong hands through a breach or insider misuse. Beyond hacking, consider how this data might be used against you in future. Insurance companies are increasingly interested in lifestyle data. Employers conducting background checks might love to know your spending patterns. And government agencies have legal mechanisms to access commercial databases in certain circumstances. What's your protection? Consider whether you need a club card at all. If you keep it, use a secondary email address. Pay with cash occasionally to create gaps in your profile. Review your data sharing permissions in the app settings and opt out of everything you're legally allowed to opt out of. Your shopping basket reveals more about you than you realize. But everything we've discussed so far is nothing compared to the final secret, the one technique that keeps you coming back even when you know you're being manipulated. This is number 1, and once you understand it, you'll never fall for it again. Number 1. The entire store is engineered around a psychological exploitation system designed to override your rational decision-making. You think you're in control when you walk into Tesco. You have a list. You have a budget. You know what you need. But what 15 employees have consistently described, and what decades of retail psychology research confirms, is that every single element of that shopping environment, from the lighting color temperature to the floor tile patterns, to the music tempo to the strategic placement of smells from the bakery section, is scientifically calibrated to make you spend more money than you intended. The store layout forces you past high-margin impulse products to reach essentials like milk and bread, which is why those items are always at the back. Shelf positioning charges brands premium fees for eye-level placement because research proves you'll buy more of what you see without bending or stretching. Those seemingly random, standalone displays in the middle of aisles, the ones with special offer signs, often contain products with the highest profit margins in the store, not the best value for you. One store manager who spoke to us off the record described their job fundamentally as behavioral manipulation. using planograms sent from head office that specify exactly where every product must sit based on purchasing psychology data. They told us about deliberate scarcity tactics, keeping fewer items on shelf to create urgency, and about the calculated use of inconsistent promotional calendars that train you to stockpile during offers because you never know when the price will spike again. Even the self-checkout systems are designed psychologically. The prompts to add bags, the suggested donation amounts, the placement of last-minute impulse items right at the payment point, these aren't conveniences, they're conversion mechanisms. The most powerful technique of all, the illusion of saving. Every time you see a club card price and feel that little hit of satisfaction at beating the regular price, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in gambling and addiction. You're being trained to associate shopping at Tesco with a neurological reward, which is why you keep coming back even when you know you could find better prices elsewhere. How do you fight back? Shop with a strict list and set a phone timer for how long you'll be in the store. Enter through the exit if possible to approach the layout from an unexpected angle. Avoid shopping when you're hungry, tired, or emotionally vulnerable. And most importantly, recognize that every moment you spend in that environment is a moment where trained psychologists are working against your best interests. The store isn't a neutral space. It's a persuasion machine, and you're the product it's designed to process. So there you have it. 7 secrets that Tesco employees say you desperately need to know, from manipulated pricing and quality downgrades to recall gaps, temperature failures, hidden fees, data exploitation, and a store environment built entirely to override your self-control. The question now is, what are you gonna do about it? Have you spotted any of these tactics yourself? Have you found products that seem different from what you expected, prices that didn't add up, or charges on your account you didn't recognize? Drop a comment below and share your experience, because when we share information, we protect each other. And if this video opened your eyes, do me a favor. Hit that like button, because it genuinely helps this investigation reach more shoppers who need to hear it. Subscribe to Retail Alert UK if you haven't already, and make sure to tap that bell so you never miss an expose. Now, if you think Tesco was bad, wait until you see what we uncovered about what's really happening at your local Asda. That video is on screen right